with Fast by Few motorcycle performance owner Tebow, and basically he's going to go over with us today everything we need to know about the basics of motorcycle suspension tuning. We appreciate having you on the channel, Tebow. First question we have for you is, what is a suspension tune?
That's a good one. So suspension tune is where someone like me goes in and I set up the preload, compression, and rebound for the rider's ability and where you're going to be riding at.
And what on a bike gets adjusted when a suspension tune takes place?
So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to set your rider sag, and then we're going to set your rebound and compression adjusters. So it's pretty simple, not really too hard.
Okay. And does a suspension tune only need to be done once for a rider?
Oh, that's actually a good one too. No, you actually, depending on where you're riding and the speed that you're riding, you're gonna change it. A faster track, you might want to go with a softer compression setting or a softer rebound setting. Something that's a little more bumpy, like the street. Same thing. The street, your speeds are slow, so you want something that's really nice and plush, easy on the wrists. You're a harder rider, you're gonna run your compression a little stiffer, so it's constantly varying, but still, you constantly should be adjusting it.
Okay. And what are the benefits of getting a suspension tune?
The benefits, well, for one, with the sag being set, you start off with the suspension set up in the parameters that it's supposed to be running at. So on the front, we like to run on the street. We run like 35 to 40 millimeters of front sag, rider sag. The rear, we'll probably shoot anywhere from 30 to 35, depending on the rider. Me, I like a bike very stiff, so I'm probably gonna run around, on the front, I run around 40 millimeters. On the rear, I run 30 millimeters for myself, but I like a very nice planted bike on the street as well. Really, and that's about it.
I see. So you would definitely say that getting a suspension tune definitely helps with having a more sense of control over the bike.
Yeah, what it does is it gets you more feeling to your fingertips, your palms connected to the ground. Whereas before, when you have a really sloppy suspension, the bike's bouncy and you don't feel anything.
Okay.
When you are going through a corner, and the bike is, let's say your rebound's too fast and it's bouncing into your face, you're never gonna get actually set up for the corner because you have no feeling on what the bike's doing.
I see. And the next question we have for you is, where can you get a suspension tune done at? Like, who can do a suspension tune?
Okay, so the best place to get it done is gonna be someone that's more of a track orientated performance shop. Your dealership, that's probably the worst place to go to. It's one of those things where you got to do some knowledge of where you're at. It's always best to go to a track day and find somebody that's that races and ask them. That's my best advice, because it's a hard thing to find somebody that's good at this kind of stuff.
I see. And of course, at Fast by Few, you do offer suspension tunes.
I do. I
Okay.
do offer suspension tunes. I do a full setup for $50.
Okay. What kind of upgrades are available for a suspension?
Okay, so that's a really, really, really technical question. The first thing that anybody wants to do on their bike is, obviously, I'm a bigger guy, and springs for the rider weight and motorcycle are the most important thing you can do.
Okay.
The motorcycles, when they come from the dealership, they're set up for very lightweight riders, anywhere from 140 to about 160 pounds. So it's very important to put the right springs for your weight in it. And then after that, you can go to valving change, and there's a couple manufacturers that offer just a compression and rebound valving change, or you can kind of go what we did with this bike, where we go with full drop-in cartridges. These are from K-Tech, and that's for your front end, and for the rear end we have a full K-Tech rear shock with the hydraulic preload adjuster, and this has complete control for the rear end.
Okay.
So this is a very advanced suspension for your normal person.
The next question we have for you is, when should suspension be serviced?
So suspension is just like an engine. It's filled with oil, and the oil breaks down. You start getting particles in it, and so it's really important. If you're a hard rider, you probably want to freshen up your suspension every 6 months. Most of us wait about a year, just because it's winter break is the best time to do it. Unfortunately for us suspension guys, it's the worst time because everybody does it in the winter time, so we're very busy. But you want to do it once a year. That's very important.
Okay. And the last question we have for you is, can Joe Blow from down the street, that backyard mechanic, and is he somebody who can, service the forks and do suspension work, or where should we take it to if we need this kind of work
Absolutely
done?
Not.
Okay.
I get so many people that think they help people by doing fork rebuilds for free for their buddies, and your suspension is the most important thing on a motorcycle. You have nothing else that connects you to the road other than your suspension. So I have heard and I have seen so many horror stories with people that they probably should not change the oil on their motorcycle, let alone thinking they know how to change the forks. It is the hardest thing to do, and it is the most important thing to do. So absolutely not should you trust Joe Schmo.
On the channel, this is Fast by Few owner Tebow, and we hope to have you again.
All right.